Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the picturesque mountains of western central Montana, about 70 miles northwest of the state capital, Helena. The town of Ovando lies just north of the Blackfoot River, with nearby Ovando Peak standing on the horizon. This is cattle ranch country, and there is farming in the valley too. The town is nestled in an area that is replete with wildlife, including deer, elk, moose, and antelope. The predators that prowl the pine and fir forests are cougars, wolves, coyotes, bobcats, and black and brown bears. As with most of Montana, the locals enjoy the scenery and a slow, small-town pace of life. Leah Lokan was a 65-year-old competitive bike rider and was completing the Great Divide mountain bike route. This route crosses the Great Divide several times along gravel roads and trails for nearly 400 miles. It is known for its difficulty and beauty. Her goal was to travel 35 miles per day for 11 days and complete the trail. On the day in question, she was two-thirds the way to accomplishing her goal. Leah was accompanied by her sister, Kim Lokan, and a friend, Katie Boerner. In her prior years, Leah was a registered nurse at Chico Hospital and president of the Chico Cycling Club in Chico, California, where she lived. She was always hugging people and was the light of every room she entered. She was not only a road cyclist, but also an avid mountain biker. She spent years living in Idaho and Montana and was very experienced as an outdoorswoman. She was focusing on her hobbies just after retiring from her nursing career. On the evening of July 5, 2021, the biking team settled into the town of Ovando and discussed their sleeping arrangements and the next day's plans. Kim and Katie opted to stay in the Ovando Inn, but Leah decided to sleep in her tent under the stars. Leah laid out her bedroll in her tent, near another pair of tent campers, Joe and Kim Cole, between the sheds behind the post office. After the evening winds down, the campers make their way to their tents and curl up for a good night's rest. At around 3 a.m., Leah is asleep in her tent when she is awakened by the loud huff of a bear on her head through her tent. She yells the alarm, "Bear! Bear!" The Coles also heard the bear approaching and peek out of their tent, but the bear was gone by then. Leah exits her tent and moves a big bag of lentils and a couple bags of snack food into the old jail building about 25 feet away. The Coles asked her if she wanted to go to the motel and sleep, but she declined. Then she takes her frontiersman bear spray and curls up in her sleeping bag in her tent and goes back to sleep. At 4:05 a.m., Mr. Cole is awoken by the sounds of the grizzly bear attacking Leah. She wasn't yelling for help, but he unzipped the door of his tent while roaring and yelling, "Bear! Bear!" As he crawled through the entrance, Mr. Cole discharged his bear spray. Mrs. Cole followed him out of the tent while blowing her whistle to alert people and possibly frighten the bear. The Coles could see the bear's dark outline on the opposite side of Leah's tent, and it was bouncing up and down on its front legs as if it were stomping on something. Mr. Cole continued to spray his bear spray while walking toward the bear. As soon as the bear locked eyes with Joe, it turned its head and walked away. The back part of Leah's tent was still standing, but the Coles could see it was now about 10 feet farther away from where it was. Leah had been pulled halfway through the opening the bear tore into the tent to get to her. She was motionless. Mr. and Mrs. Cole then ran down to the Blackfoot Commercial Company store, which is where the Ovando Inn is situated, to find Kim and Katie. After frantically arriving at Leah's campsite, the women see her tent still partly standing, with her belongings scattered about. There was blood all over, in and out of the tent, and Leah was laying on her stomach. Her legs were still in her sleeping bag. The upper portion of her tent had been torn open. First responders quickly arrived at the scene shortly thereafter. Medics attempted resuscitation, but Leah was lifeless. They rolled her over onto her back, with her arms across her abdomen, and covered her with her sleeping bag. The Powell County coroner reported that Leah had severe lacerations on her head, neck, shoulders, and back. The distance between the canine teeth on the bites on Leah's body and shirt measured 2.5 inches. They collected track and DNA evidence as well as photos from the scene and collected various fabrics and artifacts for analysis. The materials found in Leah's tent included 2 dried blueberry bags as well as her toiletries. The blueberry bags still had the scent of what they contained. No food was in her tent at the time of analysis. The safety tab from her bear spray can was also found in her tent. A short distance away from Leah's tent, the saddlebags on her bike were found to contain beef jerky, nuts and seeds, crackers, granola bars, Gatorade powder, and a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil. They also found her journal in her tent and read that on July 2nd she had practiced deploying her bear spray after being alarmed by bear sign earlier in her trip. Under Leah's tent, her nearly empty can of bear spray was found covered in the oily base used in with the capsaicin compound. The tent smelled like bear spray, which led the investigators to believe she'd deployed it during the attack. Authorities determined that the bear attempted to break into a trailer at 7 p.m. the night before the attack and entered a chicken coop that night and killed and ate several chickens. It wandered in and out of Leah's campsite and was filmed on a security camera a short distance away 15 minutes before the attack. This was the first bear captured on that video camera in 2021. This bear had no history of run-ins with people, no lip tattoos, no tags, no radio collars or chips, nor had it exhibited aggressive behavior toward people. It simply came to town looking for food. The bear was reportedly a 4 to 7-year-old male with a healthy weight of 407 pounds and no health issues. It had some bites and injuries around its neck and right shoulder from fighting, probably during breeding season. The last grizzly bear attack fatality in 50 years prior to Leah's was a hunter in 2001. This area surrounding the attack is in the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem, which winds along the border of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. The grizzly bear population of this area is said to have biologically recovered from being threatened. The Blackfoot tribe and residents of this area are governed by special rules on how they handle confrontations with grizzly bears. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider liking and subscribing as well as opting in for notifications of new episodes. Check out our merch store in the links below, and if you're so inclined, consider supporting us through Patreon. Remember, we value you as a member of our human community, so please, be careful, especially in bear country.